Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the parliament, alright? And basically these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series, like starting with the introduction, organization of parliament, composition of the two houses, system of elections to Lok Sabha, duration of two houses, membership of parliament, presiding officers of parliament, leaders in parliament, sessions of parliament, devices of parliamentary proceedings, legislative procedure in parliament, joint sitting of two houses, budget in parliament, multifunctional role of parliament, ineffectiveness of parliamentary control, position of Rajya Sabha, parliamentary privileges, and the sovereignty of the parliament. Alright, so these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion. If we talk about the topics that we have completed so far, introduction part, organization of parliament, composition of two houses, system of elections to Lok Sabha, duration of two houses, membership of parliament, and the topic on which we have been discussing is the presiding officers of the parliament. And the remaining topics like the leaders, sessions, devices, legislative procedure, joint sitting, budget parliament, multifunctional role, ineffectiveness, position of Rajya Sabha, parliamentary privileges, and the sovereignty of parliament. These are the topics that we are required to cover. Okay, so that is the picture that we have created all together. So basically we will start from where we had left in the previous one. I hope that you have revised the previous lecture in the well enough manner. All right. So in the previous lecture, we had started the discussion over the chairman of Rajya Sabha. All right. And also we had started the discussion over, you can say, how the speaker and the deputy speaker portions came into the existence. Okay. These were the things that we had discussed. So if we talk about the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, so what we had discussed, that the speaker, the deputy speaker, they both are the elected position, while the chairman of Rajya Sabha is not elected, but it is an granted position. Why? Because whosoever would be selected as an vice president of India ultimately will become the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, because this position has been granted to the position of vice president of India. Okay, so these are the things like that we had covered in the previous lecture. So in this lecture, if we talk about the topic that we are going to cover, so basically it is the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and this is the last presiding officer position, because we know if we talk about the presiding officer, then they are four. Like the speaker, deputy speaker, chairman, deputy chairman. All right. So these are the presiding officers. All right. Out of these, all the others we had covered. So the last remaining one is this one only. All right. So if we talk about him, so unlike the chairperson or chairman of the Rajya Sabha, this position is not granted, but this is an elected position. Similar like the speaker and the deputy speaker. So deputy chairman is elected by the Rajya Sabha itself from amongst its members. Okay. And basically, if we're talking about it, then I recalled a very interesting fact, which I should give you also. All right. Like we know in the previous lecture, that topic we had already covered. Like till 10th Lok Sabha, what was special in the parliament? That both the speaker and deputy speaker, they both belong to the same party, and mostly the ruling party. All right. But then what happened? From 11th Lok Sabha, the new provision is made in which it is decided the speaker will belong to the ruling party, while the deputy speaker will belong to the opposition party. Right? So that is what we had discussed. Okay. Whenever the office of deputy chairman falls vacant, the Rajya Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. And if we talk about the conditions in which his office may be vacant, okay. So basically there are three cases for this. First case is this. If he ceases to be a member of Rajya Sabha, okay, it means that if he is no longer a member of the Rajya Sabha, and you can say due to some, you can say disqualification, due to some disqualification, his membership ceased. Second case is that if he resigns by writing to the chairman, it means that he willingly resigns. Okay. Thereafter, third case is that if he is removed by the resolution passed by a majority of all then members of the Rajya Sabha, such a resolution can be moved only after giving 14 days advance notice, similar like the deputy speaker. The deputy chairman performs the duties of the chairman's office when it is vacant or when the vice president acts as a president or discharges the functions of the president. So remember, whenever the chairman of the Rajya Sabha is not in the session, okay, due to the absence, or you can say due to the some conditions which arrive, like he is serving as a president that we had discussed, if the chairman of Rajya Sabha, who is the vice president, if he acts like a president of India, then on that time he could not exercise his chairmanship of the Rajya Sabha. All right. So on that time, the deputy chairman will have a charge. Got it? He also acts as a chairman when the latter is absent from the sitting of the houses. In both cases, he has all the powers of the chairman. It should be emphasized here that the deputy chairman is not subordinate to the chairman, like the deputy speaker, and thus he directly responsible to the Rajya Sabha. All right. Thereafter, like the chairman, the deputy chairman, while presiding over the house, cannot vote in the first instance. He can only exercise a casting vote in the case of time. Okay. Further, when a resolution for the removal of the deputy speaker is under consideration, okay, then he cannot preside a sitting of the house, though he may be present. Like the same in the case of deputy speaker. When the chairman presides over the house, the deputy chairman is like any ordinary member of the house. He can speak in the house, participate in its proceedings, and vote on any question before the house. Like the chairman, the deputy chairman is also entitled to the regular salary and allowance. They are fixed by the parliament and charged on the Constituent Fund of India. So that's why they are exempted from annual voting of the parliament. All right. After this, if we talk about the panel of vice chairpersons of Rajya Sabha, okay, like we had discussed, the panel of chairpersons in Lok Sabha, okay, in which we had discussed that at least 10 chairpersons will be selected from the Lok Sabha members, all right, and they will, any of them will handle the proceedings of the house, will head the proceeding of the house when the speaker as well as the deputy speaker absent. Okay, so similar thing is also here in the Rajya Sabha, which is known as the panel of vice chairpersons of Rajya Sabha. So under the rules of Rajya Sabha, the chairman nominates from amongst the members a panel of vice chairpersons. All right. And similarly, any of them can preside over the house in the absence of the chairman or the deputy chairman. He has the powers as the chairman when so presiding. He holds office until a new panel of vice chairperson is nominated. When a member of panel of vice chairperson is also not present, any other person at determining the house act as the chairman. So the things are very much similar to the above one. Got it? It must be emphasized here that a member of the panel of vice chairperson cannot preside over the house when the office of chairman or the deputy chairman is vacant. Okay, similar like the panel of chairperson, the Lok Sabha, they could only exercise the powers during the absence. Okay. During such time, the chairman's duties are to be performed by such member of the house as the president may appoint for the purpose. Elections are held as soon as possible to fill the vacant posts. Okay. After this, now we have the Secretariat of the Parliament. What is the meaning of this? Let's talk about. Each house of Parliament has separate secretarial staff of its own. So there can be some posts common to the both houses. Their recruitment and service conditions are regulated by the Parliament. The Secretariat of each house is headed by the post which called as a Secretary General. Okay, he is a permanent officer and appointed by the presiding officer of the house. So basically you can say that it is an appointed position. All right. After this, now we have a discussion over the leaders in Parliament. Okay, whosoever calls as a leaders in Parliament. First is the leader of the house. Okay, so under the rules of Lok Sabha, leader of the house means the prime minister. If he is a member of the Lok Sabha or a minister who is a member of Lok Sabha and it is nominated by the prime minister to function as a leader of the house. All right. So technically, if we talk about the first preference, if we talk about the first preference, so the first preference always gives to the prime minister. Okay. Thereafter, if this is not the prime minister, then what will happen? Any member of a Lok Sabha, or you can say any minister, okay, and any, you can say, member of Lok Sabha which is nominated by the prime minister to function as the leader of the house. Okay. There is also a leader of the house in the Rajya Sabha. It means that the position is common both in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha. All right. He is minister and the member of Rajya Sabha, and it's nominated by the Prime Minister to function as such. All right. The leader of the house in either you can say house is an important functionary and exercises the direct influence on the conduct of business. Can also nominate a deputy leader of the house. The same functionary in USA is known as the majority leader. Okay, so we can say post and powers are the same. Only differs the name. All right. Like if we talk about the United States of America, if we talk about them, all right. And if we talk about Republic of India, okay. So what is the difference? The difference is only in the names. Like in the USA, it is known as the majority leader. In Republic of India, it is known as the leader of the house. Okay, that's the thing. After the leader of the house, the another one is the leader of the opposition. Okay, in each house of the parliament, there is a leader of the opposition. All right, because if we talk about the houses, then there are mainly two segments. First segment is the ruling party. Second segment is the opposition parties. Okay. The ruling parties are basically, you can say, headed by the leader of the house. And the opposition parties are basically headed by the leader of the opposition. All right. So remember this. So here we have covered the leader of the house. Now it's the time for the leader of the opposition who will lead the delegation of the opposition parties. So the leader of the largest opposition party having not less than 110 seats of the total strength of the house is recognized as the leader of opposition in that house. Okay. And if we talk about the parliament system of government that you can say prevails in India, so the leader of the opposition has a significant role to play. His main functions are to provide a consultative criticism of the policies of the government and to provide an alternative government. Okay. And this is, you can say, necessary. Why? Because that could make the responsible government, because always the criticism and the alternatives will be available for the public. Therefore, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha were accorded statutory recognition in 1977. All right. Remember this. Statutory means that these positions could not be destroyed because of the discretion of the government. They are also entitled to the salary, allowances, and other facilities equivalent to that of a cabinet minister. Okay. And it was in 1969 that an official leader of the opposition was recognized for the first time. It means that this position was not available during the time of the independence. Okay? Or we can say, when we got independence, there is no position like this. Okay? That was 1969 when the first time this position was created, and that was in 1977 when the statutories were granted to that position. All right. And we know in the same function in the USA is also there, but this is known as the minority leader. Okay. So here we have got another chart like in India. Okay. Thereafter, in USA. All right. In India, this position is known as the leader of the house, leader of opposition. In USA, this is known as the majority leader and the minority leader. Okay. So the positions and the powers and responsibilities are same. Only differs the names. Okay. So remember this. If we talk about the British political system, okay, so that has a unique institution called the shadow cabinet. Okay. And why we are talking about the American and the British constitution? Because I have told you, if there are two major sources to influence our constitution. Okay. So basically these are, first is the British constitution. And then the American Constitution. All right. So here we have talked about the American Constitution. Now it's the time to talk about the British Constitution. All right. Okay. So if we talk about the shadow cabinet, it is formed by the opposition party to balance the ruling cabinet and to prepare its members for future ministerial office. Okay. It means that suppose if this is the ruling party, this is the opposition party. There are ministers and then the ministries. Ministers are A, B, C, D. Ministries are X, Y, Z, W. In opposition parties, there are members. Okay. And then the ministries. Members are P, Q, R, S, and the ministries will be Y, Z, W. Okay. So if we talk about the official, so official, this is the figure. Like they are in the ruling party, so A is handling X, B is handling Y, C is handling Z, and D is handling W. But unofficially, or you can say of the shadow nature, this is the figure. P handling X, Q handling Y, R handling Z, S handling W. All right. So basically this is done to ensure that the ruling party will be in balance, and second, once the ruling party will lose and the opposition party will come in power, so they will already know that who will handle which ministry. All right. It means that this is also the preparationary phase for them. In this shadow cabinet, almost every member in the ruling cabinet is shadowed by the corresponding member in the opposition cabinet. All right. That's the thing. So students, basically in this lecture, we have finished till here. In the next lecture, we will continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.